you say by the end of it that Portugal were well beaten and were the second best side? I know it sounds silly to say it because Germany put 4 past them, but sometimes you have these anomalies where a team perhaps didn't deserve the win. Were Germany...
Yeah, comfortable, even from the start of the game, Nat. They were the team on the front foot, caused Portugal no end of problems before Portugal scored. It was on the break. The counter-attack and did it at incredible pace, Portugal, with Ronaldo having a simple tap-in at the end and a really brilliantly worked goal from Bernardo Silva to Jota to Ronaldo. It was a great goal, but they paid a price after that because they literally fell a piece. And I touched on it, Nat. Their 2 fullbacks were just absolutely buried. They just caused them so many problems in the left and right side. And Germany are a good side, as in if you allow them. I mean, the closing down of Portugal was pretty non-existent, which was, they're a good side, as in got lots of good players, Portugal, but the closing down was just nowhere to be seen. I mean, you sort of expect that with a bit with Ronaldo. He's not, he's not going to do what some of the other forwards will do in the tournament and go and hassle. He will deliver in goals and return of assists and, make his impact in the tournament. But he's not going to close down like others do,
Having said that, his goal obviously came from, it was a great counter-attack by Portugal. Germany had a corner and it was his header that cleared the ball out. And actually, I'm just reading it here because I wasn't quite sure. It took 14 seconds box to box for Cristiano Ronaldo.
90-odd metres he did, didn't he?
I mean, it was just simply terrific, wasn't it? The way he was able to just... run and get down to the other box and put the goal in was fantastic. That's his 12th goal now in the European Championships. Before coming into this, he was on 9, and now he's the outright all-time ever leading goal scorers in European Championships. So terrific from him, but ultimately all in vain. Also, Renato Sanches' strike.
Yes.
That was a thunderous strike that hit the post. How it didn't even break the post, I don't know.
Do you know what? If we go back 2016 to Sanchez, when he came into the Euros and they won it, and there was a lot of expectation. He ended up he went to Bayern Munich, and then from there he ended up going on loan here, there and everywhere. Swansea struggled, didn't look right. The kid had to reinvent himself slightly, ended up going and play elsewhere, and ended up winning the title with Lille last year. He had a really good season in France and sort of got back in, and then you see him strike a ball. And I thought he played well when he came on. He looked like a dynamic midfielder that Bayern thought they were going to get. Maybe the move, look, sometimes this happens with kids. Go and have a big move. You don't really play. You lose a bit of desire, your fitness, because you're not part of the Bayern Munich 11 to start. And he got a little bit lost. Went from a different country. Not everyone's the Bellingham and the Sancho. There are a number of young lads who get lost. We've had lads come over here do that.
Yeah.
And he was that. But it was good to see him back playing and get him. He might play in the final game for Portugal. They're away at Germany. It's going to be a big ask because they're going to have to match them. I can't see the Portuguese fullbacks handling, what, because France they got. I'm sorry, France. But even them handling the width and the pace of the French team. Griezmann, obviously Dembele went off injured yesterday, but France have got a number of quick players out wide as well.
Before we move on to the game that Spain were involved in last night, the 2 own goals, as we've pointed out in this match, have now been 5 own goals in this European Championships. That's 2 more than in any other previous finals. What does that tell you? Does it tell you anything? Does it tell you that players are, like we saw yesterday, and as I mentioned, those fullback, wingbacks of
I don't know
Goossens and Kimmich, that they're fizzing balls in because sometimes you just got to do that and hope for something. It could bounce off a player as it did, an opposition player. I
can remember having conversations with managers who would say to you, shoot, because if you shoot in these type of scenarios, you might get deflection. And that deflection can end up in the bottom corner and you get a goal. My first goal for Celtic was a deflection. I shot and it was going wide and it took a slight deflection. That was my first goal. For Celtic was, and I remember Charlie Nicholas saying to me afterwards, that was going wide. I'm like, I know. I'm so happy it didn't, but the one that always used to get me was the toe punt. The toe punt? If you toe punt every now and again, you'll get goals because it'll go through people's legs and it'll get that deflection. And there's a number of players. And own goals can be a bit like that, where if you do it really quickly, and like the ball was fizzed across, like you said, the 18-yard box, defenders are running towards their own goal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to get out the way.
Yeah.
And if you don't make a connection, someone's going to have a simple tap in. So maybe that's the reason. I don't know. It's
a strange one, though. As I say, 5 own goals already, which is 2 more than any other previous finals. Let's look into Group E. The final game last night was in Seville. It was Spain against Poland. It actually finished 1-1 in the end, with so much talk about Alvaro Morata.
Yeah.
Having not obviously done particularly well recently, he got on the score sheet. And Spain and Luis Enrique would have been delighted by that. But then Robert Lewandowski, so much expected of him, scored that equaliser in the end. And let's not forget, Spain had the chance to win the game through a penalty, which was missed by Moreno. We talked about Germany, especially in that game against France, and you mentioned it as well. You still don't think they have an out-and-out striker. We know Spain do have a striker, but they're not quite delivering, are they? No,
and they're guilty of what... I look at Spain and I come away, and I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but they remind me of an average Man City. Okay?
Right.
Because all they want to do is keep moving it. And Man City are a far more better team than that. They have, they can affect you, they can hurt you, they cause you lots of problems. But Spain overplay sometimes in certain areas of the pitch where it's just bordering on you got to play with purpose. And sometimes they didn't. And they had a number of chances last night against Poland. They didn't take them. But they do overplay to a ridiculous level. And I'm not quite sure they have enough conviction in their style, the way they play, to actually go and win games and win them comfortably. Spain are going to flatter to deceive a lot of the time. Poland could have got something... I say out the game, could have actually... Lewandowski had a great chance. The chance that it comes flying back off the bar, wasn't it, or something? And he just he takes the touch and doesn't quite get his touch right, but he pings it and the keeper makes a save. They had their chances as well, and I by the end of the game, I thought Poland might even nick it, even though they missed a penalty. Spain. There's a lot of issues with Enrique and the way he plays. I feel that tiki-taki football is we've gone bit past that, where there are teams that can...
Tiki-taka?
Tiki-taka, yeah. Tiki-taka football, where they all pass and move it. But the very best teams now are doing it with purpose, who are doing it with pressing and moving the ball and an end product. Yeah. Where Spain don't quite do that. They don't quite press as well, and they don't have the same end products as the very best teams that do it.
It was a 1-1 draw, as I was saying, in the end, and it does mean that Group E is still quite wide open as things stand. So very intriguing as that one goes into the final day on Wednesday.